Hello my fellow crafters. Today I am going to show you how to do a basic weave on a pair of earrings like this here. Now these are a little bit more intermediate, but I'll try to make it so that it's beginner friendly. And I'm going to leave a list of tools, supplies, materials over in the description. There will be some links for some of them. But to get started, you're going to need two 5-inch pieces of 18 gauge wire, two 3-inch pieces, two pieces that are 1 3/4 inches. You're also going to need beads of choice. I'm using these two little heart beads here, and two ear hooks. Now if you need to make your own ear hooks and would like to see how I make these ones here, or maybe one of the other types that I make, I will leave a link here and in the description. You'll also need two small jump rings and two medium jump rings. And along with your basic tools, make sure to have a rubber mallet on hand and a mandrel. Now the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get these on their little pegs. But before I do that, I'm going to straighten these out just a tiny bit. And to do that, I'm going to get out my block and my mallet. And to do this, what I do is I just take and roll this back and forth as I lightly tap it, and that will help to straighten it out. This also helps to work harden it to keep its shape. Now I want to bend these down at the same point so that when I roll them over with my round nose pliers, they're the same height, or the same length I should say. So I'm going to come in here with my pliers, make sure that they're level with each other, and I'm going to bend them down 90 degrees. So now they're both exactly the same, and then I don't have to argue with the length beyond that. I'm going to bring in my round nose pliers, and I'm just going to roll that down. Alright, now I'm going to slide my bead. Maybe. Alright, it looks like I'm going to have to go with different beads. Thought I tested them, but I guess I didn't. Okay, let's try that again. Let me straighten this out though. Now I'm going to come all the way down here to the bottom, grab a hold of that at the end, and just turn it down and give it a little bit of a crimp. And then do the same on the next piece. Alright, so now that we got our little dangling part done, we'll set them off to the side. And we are going to bring in our 5-inch pieces. Now if you want to put a mark on them, you're going to want to mark them at the 2.5-inch mark, which I guess I should probably do. And while we're at it, we might as well do the 3-inch one. So that'll be 1.5 inches that we're going to be marking at. That's really all the more marking that we're going to need to do, unless we have to remark those spots. Now you're going to bring in your mandrel, grab one of your 5-inch pieces and put the middle mark on your mandrel, and then just bring the arms around so that they intersect up at the top. Or I should say meet at the top. I'm going to bend that one just a little bit more. Alright, now I'm going to bring in my bail loop pliers, and to make sure that I have the circles at the same size, or I should say loops at the same size, I'm going to grab one end and I'm going to roll it down around that smallest piece, just like that. And then I'm going to turn my pliers just enough where I can bend it down. So we got ourselves like a little lollipop. And we're going to do the same thing over on the other side. So we'll bend it down so that it's touching that bar. And then we're going to bring our pliers around and bend it so that our loop is standing back up. I gotta straighten that out a little bit. And I do want these to be a little bit closer. Now with these, you're going to want to make adjustments as you go constantly so it stays somewhat uniform as you go, and you don't have to go back at the end and try to fix any major mistakes. So we're going to repeat on the other one. Make sure they're the same. We got the same going on both. So now we're going to bring our block back in. Like I said, we only need a rubber mallet for this one, or a leather mallet, whichever you prefer to use, and kind of hang them off to the edge there so you don't have to worry about hammering them down. And start hammering your wires so it doesn't flatten, but it becomes more uniform. It straightens out a bit, but it also work hardens. And then do the other side also. That'll help iron any problems out that you might have. Bring in the other one and do the same. Now for anybody who is interested, Parawire here does not sponsor me. They're not sponsoring the video, but they gave my viewers a coupon code. If you're interested in saving 10% off of one order from Parawire, I will leave the link at the end of the video. So now we are going to take our 3-inch wire and we are going to do exactly the same, except for the loop. We are not doing that in particular loop. at the end. We're going to bend that down some. So I have my pieces. I curled these two down. I thought I had my camera on, but apparently I didn't. But as you can see, all I did was curve this, and then I brought these down with the very tip of my round nose pliers. So they are running parallel with that bar. And then I work hardened this slightly with the rubber mallet. And now that's off to the side because I don't need that anymore for this project. So now what you're going to do is make sure that these fit well, which weaving them on is going to help them fit. It just kind of helps if you have that kind of preemptively done. All right, so now you're going to want to get out your 26 gauge wire. And like I said, you're going to need approximately 8 foot if you're using, well, I should say you're probably more like 6 foot if you're using 26 gauge. If you want to use 28 gauge, you're probably going to end up needing about 8 foot. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to go with about 4 foot for the first pair. I'm going to snip that so I don't have to worry about it. And I'm going to come halfway down on my wire. So I've got the halfway point right here. It's not exactly half, it's just pretty doggone close. And to get started, you want to take and wrap it around that base wire just one time in the middle, and do the same with that top wire. Just like that. So this is how your wire is going to look. And now that I'm at the top, I'm going to come back down and wrap it around the bottom one time. And then bring it back up. And wrap around the top one time. Around the bottom. And you just want to repeat this weave until you get to the end, right in this area. You can do a little bit less if you like, but that's all the more that I am doing. You want to take your time and just try to stay as consistent as possible. So you go around the two, and just the top one and then the bottom one. So you're all the way back down here at the beginning. Go all the way up over top of both of them again. And now you're just going to go around the top one time, and around the bottom one time. Once we get done with this side, I will show you how to finish it off on the other side. All right, so I finished this one off over here, and to finish it off, the only thing I did was I coiled this wire around this one post right here up to the point where it was level with this. Now I have more wire that I can go up and coil more if I want to, but I'm going to wait till I'm done with the other side to see how much I have left. That way they're even on both sides. Now to come down here and finish the other way, because we were weaving like this here, all we have to do is turn it around, and we essentially have the same exact thing. It's just on the other side. So as you can see, I have this wrapped around that top one, or I should say this was the bottom, now we're going to say it's the top, and I have it wrapped around one time. So I got to come back down here, and I'm going to wrap around what is now the bottom one time. So that makes them nice and equal, and then we go around both one time, and then around the bottom one or top one, however you want to look at it. So we have them both once. So like I said, this is just a repeat of the same thing we were just doing on the other side. We just flipped it around, but it's the same exact thing. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to try to reverse the stitch. You literally just have to flip this upside down and you're doing the same exact stitch in the same way. So I will meet you over here at the end and we'll go from there. Okay, so now I'm at the end of both and I have them pretty evened up, or I should say we have roughly the same amount of weaving wire at the ends. So we're going to go ahead and weave up that bar. We'll probably just go maybe half an inch up it. We're not going to go the entire way. All right, so here is what our finished weave is going to look like. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this one assembled. First, you're going to want your medium size jump ring. And you're going to put it in through the first loop, bring in your dangle and put that in the second loop, or in the middle I should say, and then put it on your next loop. And close that up. Now you can put your ear hook directly on that loop, but I like to have it on one more small loop so it has a little bit extra swing to it and a little bit more fluid movement, I should say. All right, so there we have our finished earring. Now we just have to do the partner. So let's go ahead and get that next one started. And I'm just going to show you how to start the weave. So we'll grab our 4-foot of wire, or approximately 4 foot. Bring our wire down to the halfway point. And we'll start the same way that we did before after I get my tools out of the way. So one loop around that bottom. Put your top piece in there. Try to line that up as best you can. My mark is gone. There it is. Line up our marks. There we go. And then bring your wire up above the second one and wrap it around there one time. So you got this going on again. Then come down to the bottom, wrap around one time, and back up over top of both of them. And just keep on repeating that till you get to the end. I said this weave looks complex. It's actually a very beginner-friendly weave. It's a common weave, and it works out well for a lot of things. So if you only decide to learn one weave, this I would suggest the most because it is very simple, but yet it looks complex. It looks nice, and it is extremely useful. And this one here, some people call it sumac weave, some people call it the modified sumac. Me, I just call it my favorite one. And like I said, just keep on weaving, and I'll meet you when I get down to the end again. Okay, so I have this side completely done. So now all I have to do to complete this side is turn it like this. And go from where we left off all the way down. So since I already have it on the bottom one, or what's now the top, we're going to come back behind. We're going to go around the bottom one time. And now you're going to come back up over top of both of them and around that top one time. And just keep on that pattern until you get all the way up to right in here, and then coil up your main bar. Alright, so I have both of mine woven, and I've just got to make sure that they line up really well, or for the most part well. And I have to assemble. Now, as promised, for anybody who would like that code for 10% off of Parawire, I'm going to leave that code right here. Like I said, that's 10% off of one order. All right, so we have our earrings complete and ready to go. Actually, I'm going to put them on earring cards right now, because why not? Now, these earring cards I make myself using my Cricut. I've heard that's not how you pronounce it, but that's how I've always pronounced it, so that's what I'm going to stick with. Put my little backs on, and then I'm going to put it in my sleeve. Alright, so these are ready to go to their new home, and I believe I will be taking these to the show this weekend. Okay, well, thank you very much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Next Tuesday, I am going to make another pair of earrings, but they're going to be slightly more advanced than this. I'll still try to keep it as simple as possible, but in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful week and happy crafting. Thank you. Bye.